fresh out the box.
Fresh California plums.
Welcome to another episode of Fresh Film Fridays, the podcast where two dudes pick the newest films streaming or in theaters and discuss them. Today we're talking about 2022's Ambulance, which was directed by Michael Bay. I'm your co-host, Alec.
I'm Justin.
Jake Gyllenhaal in an ambulance, very pissed off.
Yeah, when I read the description for this movie, I read it in the South Park Rob Schneider voice, like, because it just seems like every time Jake Gyllenhaal's in a movie, it's like Jake Gyllenhaal is a Prince of Persia, and now he's in an ambulance. It's like and then we watched what the hell was that one called?
Was it The Guilty? What was that? No, that wasn't that one. What the hell was that movie?
He was like a dispatcher. It's like Jake Gyllenhaal is a dispatcher.
Yeah, he's done something bad, but we don't know. Wait, let's see. What was that movie called? Hold on, I need to see what that was. That movie was called The Guilty. Yeah, it was The Guilty.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was one with Sandra Bullock. What the hell was that one called? Anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, man, I did not realize Michael Bay directed this until like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, could you tell? It was. I picked up a lot of Transformer vibes.
Well, they made so many references to like The Rock, which was his movie, and then it's like, we should roll out of here like Bad Boys, and they're like making all these Michael Bay movie references, and I was like, what the hell's up with this? And I looked it up, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Do you think Michael Bay was telling the writers, he's like, guys, let's like make sure people know it was me? It's like, all right, Michael, we know.
I feel like this was like a weird, all right, okay. So before we really get into this movie felt like, it felt like a Die Hard or a Fugitive or Speed or like one of those kind of movies that like have a lot of funny quotes and like you look back and people still quote them 30 years later. This movie felt like a movie that was aware of that and trying to do it before it came out. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so they're trying. It almost seemed like they were trying to make lines that people would laugh about and then like quote like years later. But like in The Fugitive and stuff, where it's like, "Get me a donut," one of those little ones with sprinkles on it, like stuff like little stupid lines like that. It felt like this movie was trying to be like, okay, we're gonna write lines that people are gonna be quoting 20 years from now, which is not. You can't do that. Like you just got to make the movie and then people quote it because it's good. To me, this movie felt like it was aware of what it was doing and it was trying to be one of those movies.
It was self-aware.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, it got a 6.2 on IMDb, which pretty good. And then I wanted to ask you, how much do you think ADT paid to promote their security system in this movie?
Who were they? Were they the trucks?
No, when the wife, Will's wife was setting he's like, set the alarm. And she went to set it. The camera like zoomed in for 5 seconds on the ADT sign. I was like, okay, get it.
No, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't even notice that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure they probably put a lot of money into this. I guess really quick, just for an overview, because this is a brand new movie. The film is basically about these two brothers, Will and Danny, and it's Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy that played young Morpheus in the new Matrix. Yeah, so basically they're estranged brothers. Danny is like a huge bank heist guy, and then Will is like an ex-Marine who is his wife has cancer, he's got a new baby, he has no money, no job, and he joins up with his brother to do a big bank heist. In the process of that, he shoots a cop. They have to hijack an ambulance with an EMT in it, and then they just basically drive away from the police for 2 straight hours throughout LA.
Yeah, that was basically it. So a couple of things I noticed when he was talking to his brother, the camera did like that dramatic spin thing where it's kind of like going in 360, but like you're looking at Danny, you're looking at Will, and they're talking, and it's very dramatic. You remember that scene?
Oh yeah.
First of all, I was getting kind of nauseous looking at that. Second of all, I was like, why is this so dramatic?
Well, I mean, the whole movie, dude, it seemed like the music would come up out of nowhere. I mean, the movie, like, I did not know what was happening. Basically, Will goes to meet his brother. He sees all these cool cars. And then within 10 minutes, it's like, you're my fucking brother. We're going to rob this bank. Like, and it just literally from there, it just goes crazy for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, well, Will went there for a loan of $230,000, and then Jake Gyllenhaal was like, "What about more?" And he was like, "Okay." He somehow like didn't pick up what was going on. There's all these like random dudes acting tough, hanging out, and that dude with the red beard gave it away pretty quickly when he was like, "Is this the other guy?" I'm like, "Man, you guys have no discretion at all."
These guys suck. They're not wearing masks. They're just using each other's names, like.
Dude,
yeah.
Speaking of the no masks, like, what was the after plan? Like, say you guys get away, right? You got $40 million. Everyone knows what you look like. What are you gonna do?
Let's kind of work our way through it. But one thing that you mentioned, which I think is probably the best part of this entire movie, is the cinematography, dude. I mean, some of those shots, like the ones you're talking about where the camera like flips in midair and then keeps going, I'm assuming it's a lot of CGI, but dude, I want to see how they did some of those because they are like really well thought out. It looks like a drone mixed with CGI. I mean, they get so close to cars. So that was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, just the way it was shot.
Yeah, they probably had a camera on a drone.
It's so cool. I've never seen a lot of that stuff. So that was probably the best thing in the whole movie for me. But I gotta say, man, I mean, the bank heist goes totally wrong. You know, everything goes wrong. Everybody dies except for Jake Gyllenhaal and young Morpheus. And they shoot a police officer, hijack an ambulance, which has an EMT in it. That's where I was kind of just like, just throw them out of the car. Like, are we serious right now? Why are you keeping this EMT and this guy in the car the entire movie?
Well, I think Jake Gyllenhaal's he wanted to keep them as a hostage. Like he knew he had a lot of leverage if he had a cop with him.
Cool. Tie the EMT up then. Literally handcuff her to the side of the
They
car.
needed her to take care of the cop because he got shot.
It felt like Speed, except it's not a bomb. It's just a guy that is more than likely going to die. The fact that the cop survives, Justin, is insane, dude. Come on. They're doing so, like an EMT with zero surgery experience is basically doing Zoom with a surgeon on a golf course, explaining to her how to do surgery she's never done while the car is driving 100 miles an hour.
All right. Well, first of all, she's a paramedic. Let me just put it that way.
Sure.
Second of all, that wasn't completely fictional what they did. A lot of times, like, if they need to do something in an emergency situation or, like, they can't get to the hospital that quickly, they have an actual, like, phone where they call a doctor or surgeon to do something. I highly doubt that would ever be the case with that extreme of an operation going, like, 80 miles an hour in this rickety-ass ambulance. I mean, yeah, he would have died. No pain medication, no nothing.
No anesthesia, and then their solution to anesthesia is punching him in the face.
Justin. Okay. I know. Before you shit on it, like,
yeah,
I want to make, because I've seen a lot of negative reviews on Twitter. I want you guys to know, like, this movie was not meant to blow you away. Like, this is a Saturday rainy film movie. This is I'm working and it's on TV in the background, and every time I look up, there's someone's getting shot. Like, that's what kind of movie this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's very Michael Bay. I mean, it's just a lot of just really cool car chases and shootouts and stuff with not a lot of substance in the plot. But you're right, it's entertaining. It kind of just feels like a very, very watered down Speed. That's kind of what it felt like to me. You've seen Speed, right, with Keanu?
Of course.
Yeah, and but like there's a bomb on the bus, so it's like, oh, okay, like we genuinely can't figure this out. But this one, they're just like, I kind of like this EMT. Keep her here because she's kind of cool. All right, I kind of like her.
Yeah, I mean, it all went wrong in the beginning when the cop came into the building, and first of all, Jake Gyllenhaal said Park was her last name for an Asian lady. Yeah. I'm surprised Hollywood let that happen. And then he went up and he noticed the sign. First of all the tellers looked super fucking nervous.
Yeah.
They looked so nervous. The second I saw that fat dude's face, I was like, oh, man.
They didn't even show that scene, though, where they, like, take over the bank. They cut right to we're in the bank, and then all of a sudden, they've already taken it over. You're like, wait, what?
It was very fast, and I wish... This movie was like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I wish they took 5 minutes to do a little bit of character explanation. Like, you don't know any of the background story of the crew. They should have done literally a 30-second like montage story for each crew member. Like, Will would have been like, oh, who's the team? And Jake would be like, the team? Let me introduce him. And then it would have like casually paused on one guy, and it would have been like, he's a demolitions expert. He's like, this is his 16th bank. Burr, 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 burr. And it would have done that for 30 seconds for each guy. And that would have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to do the thing where it's like, look at this guy, Mel Gibson. He looks like Mel Gibson from Braveheart. I was like, he doesn't, though. He doesn't have a beard in Braveheart. I was like, what is this? And then the other thing is like, what kind of guy wears Birkenstocks to a thing? They're like trying to give them little things that people are going to be like, ha, that's funny. Why would somebody wear Birkenstock? But it's like, you're right. I don't know anything about these people. They're all dead within 10 seconds, and we don't even see how they react when they take over the bank. So you're just like...
Yeah, they died super fast. Everything that could have Gone wrong, went wrong. I mean, the captain of that police force that showed up was like, how did they rob a bank right across the street from the station? I mean, who robs a bank right across the street from a police station?
Unless they, I mean, 32 million. I don't think that's a normal bank amount. So I think that's why they did it.
I know, but it just seems like a little too risky. And on top of that, you had the SWAT team and those like bank dudes, the elite police guys. They were there within minutes.
Yeah. What do you mean, the FBI or the SWAT guys or whatever?
Well, there were the SWAT guys, and then I think they were the FBI's, the dude who just had the vests on.
Yeah.
But like literally, there was no time to escape. Like they had the money, and before they even stepped outside the door, they were completely surrounded.
Well, I think they were tracking them. They said that. They're like, well, we put a tracker in the Mercedes. Like, well, they're not using the Mercedes. So I think they were waiting. Like, they were very aware this was happening. They just didn't know when. And they did track a car they thought they would use, and they didn't use that. So they did say that. But you're right. It's like this huge heist, 32 million. They're not wearing masks. What's the plan? If like everything went perfectly, what's the plan? I mean, they're still going to get screwed up. And even if that cop didn't go in to hit on the bank teller, like still shit was probably going to go wrong. Another thing is the cop that sends in the other cop, the one that's like hanging outside, dude, in the beginning, he gets like 10,000 bullets shot at him from every angle. I mean, even like a shotgun at point blank range happens to miss him. And I was like, guys, what is this guy really important? Like, he better be really important because you're making him so slippery in all of these gun situations. And then all he really ends up doing is just shooting that guy at the end. That's all he really did.
Speaking of that guy at the end that died, he was the gangster's son.
Yeah.
And you know, Jake gave him $8 million, and like I was just thinking to myself, if I was Jake Gyllenhaal, I would just kill them.
They did.
Right, but he wasn't going to. He was going to give him the money and leave, but then he didn't let them leave.
Well, I mean, they saved Jake Gyllenhaal. Without those guys, they wouldn't have made it. So I mean, I don't know. You had a deal, Justin. So if somebody's going to help you out, you'd be like, I'd fuck him over. I don't care.
For $8 million.
Well, he gave him $8 million, and then he kept $4 million. I mean, the reason he probably did is because he thought he was going to have to split it with the rest of his crew, and now he only has to split it with his brother. So it's like, oh, sweet, I made more money than I was even planning on making. So whatever, here you go. Thanks for saving me. And then he's like, fuck you. You know what? Fuck you. Fuck all you guys.
Fuck you, man.
He's like, everybody here's fucked now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It was a little bit too long, and the things that did happen just kind of seemed like this wouldn't happen in real life. Like there's so many times where the EMT does like, you know, sprays them with the fire extinguisher, or like just it's difficult, and they're just like, we got to keep her. It's like, why?
I mean, what I would have done is pushed the injured cop out of the ambulance, and kept her as a hostage, and just that way it would have solved the whole problem. Yeah, I mean, also there wasn't any like dead stop traffic that they hit going on the highway in LA, and I'm like, I feel like they would hit traffic.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to take place during COVID, but still.
You think Jake that Will was like, but what about LA traffic? And he's like, it's the pandemic, stupid.
He's like, hey, idiot, it's the pandemic. No, it's true though. I mean, the traffic even during the pandemic was still like bad by most places' standards, but the traffic in LA, it's so bad for no reason most of the time. And the other thing I've never seen, rubbernecking, obviously you know what that is.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's like a profession out here. People are like, I'm going to stop in the middle of the highway and just be like, hey, look at that. There's people in the crash. I'm going to stare at them for 5 fucking seconds. It's not my car. And everybody does it, dude. It's insane. Yeah.
Because then the car behind them is like, hey, what are they looking at?
Dude, it's like everybody here is just, I don't know what it is, but LA, nobody, I don't know if people know what their signals are. I don't know if they're like, hey, this thing helps. Oh, this indicates that I'm turning so I don't get in an accident. Okay. No, out here is a goddamn nightmare, dude, for traffic. So them driving in that ambulance, even with the ambulance on, like people go, oh, we're getting out of their way. No, not LA. They definitely would have got stuck somewhere, and the police would have got them.
Yeah, but what I wrote down in my notes was like, so I mean, the whole reason Will did this, right, was because his wife has cancer, and there's some experimental surgery that insurance wouldn't cover.
Yeah,
and I was just thinking, this plot would only happen in America. Like, do you think there's this plot in Canada and Europe because they have healthcare like that's universal? Like, there's no way the French Michael Bay would be like, yeah, this guy, he can't afford health insurance, and they'd be like, yeah, but it's like it comes out of your taxes. Like, it's Universal. Like, you're right. Shit. Okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to imagine this in like Vancouver. Like, we got to take this ambulance, eh? It's like, oh yeah. Well, actually, we don't. We have universal healthcare. Why don't we just have my wife get treatment for her cancer? It's like, oh yeah, yeah. You want to go to Tim Hortons? Yeah.
And then like you want to go to Tim Hortons? It's like they're in Canada, and I know Film Rage is going to listen to this. Their Canadian podcast, and it's like they're waiting. The only thing I know about universal healthcare is I've heard negative reviews of like long waits for things, and I can just picture Will like, yeah, we took our wife in, and it's going to be 6 months, and they're just in Canada. They're like, what's this wait about?
I mean, dude, you're right though. Like, I didn't really think about that. The only country that this, like, for him at least, for Will, is because, yeah, and he's also a veteran. I thought you guys get like great health insurance through the VA. Today's episode of Wheel of Horror is brought to you by Bard's Clothing. Remember that one time you bought a Cool Cat shirt, and now you get bombarded with calls and ads for Cool Cat shirts? At Bard's Clothing, the focus is on you and your story. A custom clothing company producing casual knits, button-down shirts, suits, and much more. All of Bard's clothing garments are created right here in America, so you don't have to worry about slave labor or killing the environment. Buying with intention to tell your story has never been easier. Go to bardsclothing.com to book an appointment, and be sure to follow them at Bard's Clothing on Instagram.
Well, he does, not his wife.
Oh my god. What about his kid? Does his son?
No.
Oh.
If they were like still in, I believe his family, his family can get medical. But dude, besides the fact that this could only happen in America, it also made me think just how unrealistic. I mean, this is more serious in the movie, but how unrealistic some of these procedures that are life saving are. Like, who has $250,000
just for cancer treatment?
Yeah, just for a treatment.
I mean, yeah, I know. It's super messed up. I mean, it's basically like if you don't have health insurance in America and you get like leukemia or cancer or like some life-threatening disease, you're going to die or you're going to completely bankrupt your entire life. That's so wrong. You know, it's like if you break your leg and you don't have health insurance, like, yeah, it's going to cost you like $10,000. You're not going to be able to work. And it's like that's not right. It's just not.
Because now it forced Will to rob a bank, and it got the cop shot. And
yeah, but you were saying like, you know, the problem with like universal healthcare in other countries is the wait time. I mean, if you break your leg, they're not just going to be like, well, you got to wait 6 months. Sorry, buddy. It's like, no, they're going to fix it right then and there.
It's for routine things. So like my understanding is, and any people who live in countries that have this, feel free to comment. My understanding is like, for example, if you call your primary care physician tomorrow and you're like, my throat hurts, or I need like medication for my throat, like they could probably see you that week. Like, I'll stop in 10 minutes. But I've heard things, I've seen like Canadian documentaries where they're like, yeah, I went to like get my kidney checked and they told me 6 months. Like, that wouldn't happen here.
Yeah, I mean, because I guess you're paying for privatized insurance. The other thing is about privatized insurance. It's like, well, yeah, that's why their taxes are so high in the countries like that. I'm like, the fucking taxes are high as shit here too. They're not like cheap here. So I'm like,
seriously.
And what they do is they tie it with your employer. So it's like, you're more screwed. You're like, well, I have to work at this job I don't like because I need health insurance. It's like such a scam, dude. But anyways.
Yeah. When the cop woke up after the surgery, which by the way, pretty sure just from the pain and lack of anesthesia, you would have woken up mid procedure from that pain.
Yeah.
But he woke up and he just seemed like slightly dazed. He's like, were your hands inside me? You would, dude, if this was real, you would wake up screaming. His friggin' thing burst, whatever that was.
Yeah, and also maybe I missed it. I didn't see her or Will putting on any like antiseptics or anything to clean their hands as they're shoving it inside of him.
Dude, I don't even think they had gloves on.
No.
They just like fisted his
They're like, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right, this is insane. This movie is insane. The part that I did kind of laugh at, though, and I wish this is how it actually ended. You know how like when Cam is teaching the newbie and she's like, you get one question a day. And he's like, do you have a boyfriend or whatever? But remember the scene before that where Cam is like, every day is the same. You do your job, you go home, you go to bed or whatever. It's like nothing shakes me. And then at the end, after she's gone through all this and the EMT comes up at the end and he's like, hey, how's everything going? I really wanted her to be like, I told you, it's all fine. And all of a sudden it's like, I'm shipping up to Boston. Wow. And there's all like the credits start rolling. It's like directed by Michael Bay. And I'm like, wow, that's how it fucking ends. I don't know. Because why'd they bring that EMT back? just for that line to be like,
there was no
everything
need
all
for it.
right?
I'm sure you didn't pick this up, but I laughed pretty hard when Will and Jake were in the gangster warehouse and Jake was planning to kill them with Will. And he was doing that thing like, all right, like we should both go left. And immediately, dude, in my head, I think it was Rush Hour 2,
Yep.
where he's like, you go left, I go right. And Jackie was like, I go left, you go right. And like, I was like, why am I thinking about this?
I was too, dude. The
that's
bathhouse
so
scene was
awesome.
like, Ricky Tan.
Ricky Tan.
Yeah.
Where's Ricky?
Ricky, oh, that's a nice computer with the lap. Oh, I'll get the DVD player. Like, yeah, that scene. Yeah, I know.
Ricky Tan.
Ricky Tan. Yeah, dude, I love that. But no, that's what I was thinking too. And I'm also like, okay, so all of these guys have them surrounded with automatic weapons pointed directly at them. That's
Right.
cool that they can kill all of them at once. I can't.
I thought one of them would get fucked up.
Wasn't Will shot by? Oh no, he wasn't shot then. He goes after that and gets shot. Yeah.
Yeah. She shot him, right?
Yeah.
Like he stepped in, she shot him point blank, and then like felt bad about it. I was like, why did you shoot him?
I think she was scared. I think
he didn't do anything. And also, they had this cop in the back the whole time with a gun. Nobody took the gun.
Nobody took a cell phone either.
Nobody was like, hey, we should take that cop's gun. Like, what the fuck?
Let me ask you this. Who do you think was the lead of this movie?
I mean, I'd say Jake.
Really?
There was a lot of emphasis on Will, but I mean, Jake, he was like the main villain because he ran everything. And of the two, he was like the bad one. So
I know, dude, that's the thing. I can't really think like who's supposed to be the lead here because they make it seem like Jake Gyllenhaal is the highest billed actor. It's literally like Jake Gyllenhaal ambulance. It's like that in the credits. But then the EMT is what it ends on, and she's the one that seems to like have learned the most from this. And then Will is the one that like is the good guy. So it's just like it felt like it was just so all over the place, dude. And the characters that you do get introduced to, like the lead cop or the old grizzled cop with the big dog or whatever, dude, he gets shot and thrown away like it's nothing.
Well, Will shot Jake at the end.
Yeah, exactly. He shot Jake.
And I was just like, why? I was like, for what?
I also don't really know. I mean, because he probably thought, well, they're going to shoot Cam and Jake Gyllenhaal. So it's like, well, I guess I'll just take care of it. But dude, you'd think that the snipers are pointing at the ambulance. Jake Gyllenhaal's got a gun to Cam's head. He's like about to jump out and be like, I'm the bad guy or whatever. They're going to shoot both of them. If Will shoots Jake Gyllenhaal in the back and their bodies fly out towards, you don't think the sniper's going to be like, what the fuck, and just shoot them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I thought, speaking of the captain, that scene was awesome where that like car rolled up and it had that mini Gatling gun and it just wrecked all those cops.
That was sick. That was very cool. Yeah, and dude, that scared me because I'm just like, I bet we're not that far off for like, drive-by shootings, but they're with like Teslas and stuff now. And they're just like self-driving cars and they just like rig up like remote controlled guns. Like that's probably going to be a thing soon, dude.
I feel like it wouldn't be that difficult to like rig a gun to like a drone or something. And like, I don't know, just like something where you press the button and something hit the trigger. I feel like it's not that difficult.
I agree with you. I mean, well, dude, Jackass did it with the paintball gun. Remember in the last one, they had the paintball gun on the drone that was going around shooting them. So definitely they could do that with a real gun, I'd imagine. But yeah, that was sick, dude. When the gang like rolled up with that thing, that was really, and they're like so confused, the cops, and they're shooting the dummy. They're like, what the fuck? Like, why isn't it dying? That was awesome. Yeah, man. But I just like, the FBI agent, like being friends with Danny, I'm kind of just like, why?
Oh, yeah. Like of all the towns, of all the states in the United States that this guy could have been an FBI agent, he was still in the LA area. He also happened to go. He was like, I know Danny's like back from school. It's like, what are the odds? What are the fucking odds? It's like the captain was like, he's on the phone with someone. He's like, we need an expert, preferably someone who also knows Danny.
And then let's also show a scene of him and his husband fighting in a therapy room about like how busy he is. It's like, guys, the movie does not have time for this. This movie is so long.
I don't understand, because I've seen that guy in other movies. And he's not like the main guy. And like you said, there was no need to have 10 minutes of that therapy session. And he was like the mean husband in the relationship. And then he was like, all right, I gotta go, baby. And like kissed him and left. I'm like, why the fuck am I seeing
Dude, there's so many scenes like that. Like even in the beginning when the two EMTs are sitting there, it's like, hey, you're drinking on the job. She's like, it's 00. I was like, all right, either this is a huge ad promo or like because it goes nowhere. They don't talk about how like she used to have a drinking problem, but now she got sober. She's the best EMT in the town. Like that never happened. So is the Heineken 00 thing just a fucking product placement? Like
I think Michael Bay had to push ADT and Heineken to be like, we got to pay for these fucking explosions.
oh my god, dude. Yeah, that like lines like that, I'm just like rolling my eyes. But then back to the point about the FBI guy with the husband. It's not like later in the movie he calls him back and is like, hey, like you know what, I'm not too busy for you anymore. So there's no resolution. That's my point. Last thing I want to ask you too. I have driven in LA for 2 years now. The streets are littered with nails and glass and just
and homeless people.
Yeah, and needles and everything. There's no way in hell an ambulance driving that fast for that long, ignoring everything on the street, is not going to hit something and the tire's going to pop. Like, there's no
Do you
way.
think this movie should have ended with Jake was driving the ambulance and Will was like, watch out, shit! And it's just a homeless person's poop in the street and, like, it slips on a banana peel, but it's the poop and she's like, and flips over a million times.
Yes, that should have happened, but also the ambulance should have flipped over like 100 times how fast it was going around turns. I'm like, it's just, come on, guys.
Oh, speaking of which, can you explain, maybe I missed it, what was the whole point of spray painting the ambulance?
No clue.
Whether it was blue, purple, or yellow, like the helicopters would have been like, that thing kind of looks like an ambulance.
I have no idea, dude. This movie felt like Grand Theft Auto, kind of like you're just watching somebody playing Grand Theft Auto, where it's like, all right, go into the safe house, spray your car. The cops won't notice the car when you leave. Your stars will go down.
But dude, the best part was you could see the ambulance designs through the yellow spray paint.
Yeah, all he should have told his friend is be like, hey, cover the word ambulance, cover anything that makes this look like an ambulance. But like, oh, dude, it's so
dude,
dumb.
when he was like, I'm gonna need 5 hours, boss, he's like, you got 40 seconds. I'm like, that's it sounds like he can't do it in the allotted time that you provided.
Jake Gyllenhaal's character was insane, like actually crazy insane, just screaming the most nonsensical stuff all of the time. You never knew what he was really thinking. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with him, dude. He was like always mad, always about to scream and flip out for no reason. So I don't know, man. I mean,
again, this movie it's like a background movie, like if you just have it on the background, every now and then you look up, there's going to be an action-packed scene every time you look up, but like, yeah, it's a Michael Bay movie, dude.
I know. I hope he can hear this and just be like, it's a good background movie. It's a Michael Bay movie. You don't watch them. You just have them on in the room.
I mean, I feel like, these actors got into this movie for the same reason, on when we talked about The Bubble. Like, they all knew that script probably sucked, but they were like, it's Judd Apatow. Like, let's just do it.
Oh, this is way better than The Bubble, dude.
No, I know, but I'm sure they read the script and Jake was like, okay, it's like 2 hours of me in an ambulance just like yelling, but it's Michael Bay.
Yeah. You could probably watch this with the sound off and just have just as much fun. I mean, really, like, you just want to see the cool car chases and the shootouts. That's all it is. Not a lot of substance. Yeah. I put it that way. All right. So yeah, 1 out of 10. What would you give this guy?
I feel like the 6.2 is pretty accurate. I feel like a 6.5 would be too high. Yeah, I'm gonna go 6.3. Just in the middle between the 6 and the 6.5.
Wow.
If you like Jake Gyllenhaal, you're probably gonna like this movie. Just like, don't go into it expecting depth.
Yeah, really just go in there and be like, this is just supposed to be fun entertainment. It's not going to be good. It's not like The Fugitive or Speed or like one of those like, wow, that was really good.
This is no Ghost Ship.
No. Come on. Don't even mention Ghost Ship in the same sentence as Ambulance or Michael Bay. Nah, I'm going to give it a 6. It's fine. It's fine. It's all right. It's not a masterpiece, but it's just a little long. I think if it was like an hour 45, I wouldn't have been as upset. But the fact that it was 2 hours, like bordering on 2.5, you're kind of like, this better be fucking good. And there's just nothing going on. All right, that's it for us today. Thank you very much for listening in to our discussion on Ambulance. If you haven't had a chance yet, you can listen to our episode on Anaconda, which came out on Monday on Wheel of Horror. And this upcoming Monday, we will have Prom Night from 2006. So check that out. And have a great week. We'll see you next Friday.